Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Go to andymark.com and keep your team inspired. And by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
Quiet, students.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another installment of Best of the West. The Pacific Northwest, Colorado, California, Nevada, and the beautiful islands of Hawaii all hosted events this weekend. The scales are heating up, the vaults are filling up, and the stakes are rising as teams are running out of time to punch their tickets to champs. We'll break down all of the Week 4 action, check out the top 10 in the West, and look forward to Week 5 this week. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Clinot.
I'm Andrew Lawrence.
And I'm Aiden Ferrer.
All right, Aiden, why don't you start us off with some of this Week 4 action we had in the West?
Sounds good. Well, up in the PNW, up first we got the Sundome District event going down Yakima, Washington. Wait, that doesn't look right. Yeah, that's Sundome. I don't have the stuff for Glacier Peak. Oops. Time to look at the Blue Alliance.
All right, well, how about while you do that, I cover the PNW West Valley District.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
All right. Starting it off super hot this week, guys. The PNW West Valley District event was in Spokane. It was all set up to be a shootout from the word go, with scale shooters 5803 and 2990 duking it out for the top spot, with some of your more traditional scale bots like 4980 and 2157. In the end, it was 5803 that was able to grab the #1 seed after grabbing the AutoQuest RP in all 12 of their qualification matches. They selected winners of the Clackamas District event, 45-13, the Circuit Breakers, and 60-76, the Mustangs. The top seeds made it through the quarters without a hitch, but faltered in their first semifinals match against the #4 alliance of 59-20, 21-47, and 60-76, as 5803 had some apparent intake issues. After riding the ship in semis 2 and 3, they were able to make it to the finals and face the #2 alliance at 2990 Hotwire, 4980 the K9 Crusaders, and 4692 the Metal Mallards. The first finals match went to the #2 alliance in a back-and-forth scale battle that resulted in just 48 ownership points being awarded. The #1 alliance was able to dominate the scale in the next two finals match, though, and win with scores of 418 to 311 and 453 to 269. Congrats to 4061 the Cyborgs on the District EI and 2944 the Titanium Tigers, who grabbed the District Chairman's Award after winning District EI at Sundome last week.
Sounds good. Also in PNW, now that I'm looking at the right event, we got the Glacier Peak District recap. 2910 continued being awesome with an undefeated event, while 1983 pulled off a second win after being picked by 2910, proving that they're really back from their off year. The reigning world champions 2928 maintained the first seed for most of Saturday, but dropped to the second seed after being beat by 2910 and were upset in the semifinals. Team 4488, that's Shockwave, traveled up from Oregon and showed off a very accurate cube placer, but not the fastest cycles at the event. Their alliance pulled off the only upset in the event. The fourth alliance, led by 2522, also proving that they could come back from a very off year, tried a unique strategy of not placing a single cube on the scale that almost beat the unbeatable first alliance in the second semifinal match. 5827 and 4512 both fell significantly further in the alliance selections than they deserved and definitely earned their medals as second picks. 4911 picked up the third District Chairman's Award after skipping 2017. Meanwhile, 4488 went home with two silver medals at Double Kling Bling, one from EI and one from their finalist run. So congratulations to these alliances. Also winning the Rookie All-Star Award. Well, I guess they don't have that this event. That's unfortunate. But next closest thing, Rookie Inspiration Award going to 7118. Congrats to them, because you gotta shout out those rookies, man. They really do a lot of work in their first year, and sometimes have to work harder than everyone else. But congrats to 1983, 29-10, and 58-27 for winning the event, and for 44-88, 45-12, and 32-18 for being the finalists.
Nice. All right. And if we head down a little bit south of that over to California, the Stacktremendo Regional this past weekend really showed off what dominance and first power-up looks like. The top 8 consisted of robots that all had one thing in common: consistency. What really shone in Davis this past weekend wasn't burgers and brew, but it was reliability and ability to execute everything as planned. This ability to command and conquer again and again led to hometown team 1678 seating first, with Friends 1323 taking a close second, both of whom went undefeated in the qualifying rounds. To the surprise of no one, the top 2 contenders partnered together, selecting Central Valley Team 3970 Duncan Dynamics as their third, but looking to give the number 1 alliance a run for their money, which averaged to about $625 per quals match, were California competitors 3250 Kennedy Robotics, who seated third, 1072 Harker Robotics in fourth, and 5940, 5496, 5507, 383, and 1458, respectively, as alliance captains. In the end, it was the number 1 alliance headed by 1678 versus the number 3 alliance led by the simplicity-focused 1072. The number 1 alliance took the event in a swift 2 matches, with 1072 and 6474 taking home the wild card invitations to the championship event. Alongside winning the regional, 1678 finally earned their first and certainly not last regional chairman's award, a well-deserved and frankly overdue recognition. 701 RoboVikes took home the Engineering Inspiration Award, and universally loved Northern California mentor Bill Kendall from 2073 was awarded the Woody Flowers Finalist Award.
Gotta say, congrats to 1678 again on chairmans. I know they've been gunning for it for a while, and they've certainly deserved it for even longer, so I'm glad to see that they're finally taking that blue banner home. All right, well, there were about 37 robots out in the middle of the Pacific last weekend, specifically at the University of Hawaii for the Hawaii Regional, with teams from Hawaii, California, Michigan, Illinois, Guam, Taipei, and Japan. This diverse event saw many intense matches, hotter than the Hawaiian hotspot itself. Team 4253 Raid 0 from Taipei took the first seed, picking up 359 the Hawaiian kids, who ranked third, and Team 244 Robodogs 3D from Michigan. 4984 Bullseye from California ranked second, and picked up Hawaiian teams 368 Kikamana and 1378 Hilo Viking Robotics. Both of these alliances cruised through the elimination rounds with little opposition, facing off in the finals against one another. These explosive matches went in favor of Alliance number 1, who took both matches 459 to 222 and 433 to 168, respectively. Congratulations to 4253, 359, and 244 for winning the event as an alliance of over 7,000 miles. The finalists did not go home empty-handed, however, as 1378 got that double silver cling bling from making finals as well as winning the Engineering Inspiration Award, and 4253's double gold cling bling for winning the event as well as the Regional Chairman's Award. This combination of awards sent everyone from the finals round to champs after the creation and potentially burning of a few wildcards. A huge congratulations goes to Team 6909 Sakura Tempesta for being the very first team from Japan to make it to the World Championship after winning the Rookie All-Star Award. Yoku dekimashita, and we'll see you in Detroit.
That was too good. All right. Well, deep in the land of anteaters and blizzard, the Orange County Regional took the Brent Event Center at UC Irvine by storm. From the get-go, local team 3476 Code Orange and 3309 the Friar Bots were the fan favorites, with stellar performances on practice day and during the qualifying rounds. The two were neck and neck in rank until the final few matches, where 3309 managed to squeeze their way to the number 1 seed by a tenth of a ranking point. Either way, these two top performers were determined to work together and paired up in the alliance selections alongside selecting Team 6955 from Chile, but faced tough opposition from alliances led by 1515, 5805, 5802, 294, 4322, 2496, and 5477. When the finals matches finally arrived, it was the number 1 seed versus the number 3 seed. In both finals matches, the first seeded alliance was plagued with a combination of fouls and robot failures that gave the third alliance the competitive advantage. They took that advantage, and soon after, 5805 Assembly Required, 3473 Team Sprocket, and 812 Midnight Mechanics took the win at the Orange County Regional. At the end of the day, Team 1515 More Torque from Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be, was awarded the Engineering Inspiration Award, and the Friarbots earned their third Regional Chairman's Award, which not only qualified them for champs, but also gave their wild card position to their alliance partners on Code Orange. Also deserving of recognition is 3476 mentor Patrick Youssef, who near single-handedly worked with and fixed more than 20 robots at the event. I'm looking forward to the day when this man wins Woody Flowers, because anyone at this event would agree he deserves it.
All right. 52 teams from 7 states and Turkey came to town for the Colorado Regional this weekend with tons of great robots going into the event. It was all to play for the top spot. By the end of qualifications on Friday, it had essentially turned into a 3-team race for the number 1 seed between all 3 partner climbers, 118, 148, and 1619. After the remaining quals on Saturday, it was 1619 who was able to climb their way to the top with a 3.36 ranking score despite losses to both 118 and 148. With their first selection, they took the Robot Wrangler 148 machine and fellow Texans 5414 Paradox. The number 1 alliance made it through the quarters and semis unscathed, but would face a tough number 2 alliance in the finals. 118, the Robonauts had picked fellow Texans 30 out 5, the Robochargers, and 4293 Komodo, also from Colorado. After all the pre-event hype about the Texas invasion, it was little surprised to see 4 of the 6 teams in the finals from the Lone Star State. Texas invasion represent.
There you go.
The first finals match went to the number 2 alliance after Paradox lost power halfway through the match and racked up a couple null territory infractions. But the second finals match lived up to the hype with one of the biggest scale battles we've seen this year. 118's design choices paid off with their tight placement on the scale and kept it on the blue side for most of the match. With 3005 working the Red Alliance switch and 4293 filling up the vault, the number 2 alliance was able to secure the second finals match and earn that sweet blue banner. Congratulations to 6459 from Turkey on winning the Engineering Inspiration Award, and to Team 1011 for winning the Chairman's Award for the second year in a row. Team 7243 from Denver was able to snag the Rookie All-Stars, so way to keep that one in-house, boys.
And moving a little bit closer to the West Coast, we got the Las Vegas Regional. The City of Lights added about 44 more RSLs than usual at the Las Vegas Regional last weekend, with teams from all across Nevada and California, as well as some visitors from Arizona and even Germany. These high-stakes events was full of tourists looking to win big. Taking the number 1 seed was 2485 Warlords with a ranking score of 2.83, who picked up rank 2 team 3255 Super Nerds and 6411 Gravediggers. 842 Falcon Robotics moved up to the 2nd seed, taking 987 the High Rollers and 3965 Sultans along with them in the Lions draft. In a huge upset, an overturning event, if you will, the 1st seed Alliance was just barely knocked out in the quarterfinals, while the 2nd Alliance cruised their way on to the finals. It seems like there was a bit of a mishap with 3255 Super Nerds. Shouldn't have happened. First Alliance got knocked out a little bit earlier than people would have liked, which was sorry to see. But, you know, in an intense game like Power Up, you're going to have these kinds of mistakes happen. In the finals, we had the 2nd Alliance facing off against the 4th Alliance, who consisted of 687 the Nerd Herd, 399 Eagle Robotics, and 6824 LVA Robot Pigeons. The 2nd Alliance took finals 1 177 to 487, and finals 2 170 to 460. Congratulations to the 2nd Alliance for winning Las Vegas, as well as the 687 and 6824 for qualifying for champs in Houston through the wild card. Despite getting knocked out in the quarterfinals, 2485 Warlords walked away from the event with an Engineering Inspiration Award as their Kling Bling, as well as a Dean's List finalist winner, while Team 585 Cyber Penguins took home the Regional Chairman's Award for the first time since 2012. A huge congratulations to Team 6957, the Aces, for receiving the Rookie All-Star Award.
All right, guys. So we had 7 events in the West this week. That was a lot to get through.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
It's crazy. You know, we've got a lot of states, a lot of territory to cover. But from all those events, we only have 10 that made the top 10 in the West this week. So let's go ahead and read those off. These were all voted by the members of the FRC community. It's usually just a popularity poll, so it doesn't mean a whole lot. But in number 10 this week, we had 1011 Crush. Number 9, 3476 Code Orange. 2910 from the PNW Jack and the Bot. 3309 the Friar Bots. 359 the Hawaiian Kids. 842 out in Las Vegas Falcon Robotics. 1323 Madtown. 987 the High Rollers. 1678 Citrus Circuits. And 1619 Upper Creek Robotics. So lots of guys out in California, it looked like. A couple guys from Las Vegas, and then good to see the Hawaiian Kids up there. They're always a great team. Look up to them.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. So, guys, week 4, we're over halfway through the season now. We've got just 2 more weeks of events here in the West before we get to Houston Champs. What's going on in Power Up? How are teams being successful? What can they do to get better going into the future, week 5 here?
So one of the really important parts of this game, I'd say almost more important than has been in previous games, is really the alliance selection and what kind of an alliance you throw together. Because there's a lot of permutations and combinations of alliances you can find in first Power Up. And right now, they're all just as viable as the other, which usually isn't the case. Most of the most common alliances consist of a couple scale bots and a switch bot. But at the current, and this at the current level of play, of course, even alliances with all switch bots can give scale bots or scale bot alliances a run for their money. I think as we get towards district champs, this trend will probably disappear. But for now, it's interesting that this possibility really does exist, where you can have 3 robots doing the quote unquote secondary objective, and beating the primary objective, big flashy show scale bots. So we saw similar things last year for sure. Where is that? Something that does differentiate this year from last year, though, is that a robot that effectively completes the higher difficulty challenge, meaning the scale, is usually just as effective at completing the lower difficulty challenge. So as a result, I think we're going to see less switch-focused bots get picked over scale-capable robots that are just as effective at playing the switch. I think there's going to be a few switch bots that will probably get selected over equally capable scale bots, and that'll be because of either a specialized mechanism that will be harder to implement on a scale robot, or because of some physical attribute such as size or weight. That being said, I can see a championship division with a dearth of these kind of robots, resulting in you're going to have alliances made up entirely of scale-capable robots, and they'll play the game just as well. What are your thoughts, Aiden?
Yeah, so on your comment of size and weight, I really think that's actually going to be a major contributor at Champs, more so than you mentioned. We're seeing a lot of alliances being built around role as usual. You always have people feeling like either specializing in fuel or specializing in gear last year, and that's just what they would play, and the most efficient are the ones that you want in your alliance, and that's kind of the long and short of it. But this year we got like our double scale bots with a single switch/exchange bot being run. Sometimes it's single scale with double switch bot being run, depending on how efficient people are seeing these alliances shaping out. So it really ends up being 2 tall bots and 1 switch only, which isn't necessarily the answer, but something I can see being meta. Now that we're in week 4, it kind of has been the meta. I think rather than roles, though, people are going to want to build based around size and the actual build of the robot itself, especially given that partner climbs are so necessary this year. It's really going to be a problematic if you're foregoing 2 climbs and a levitate, or 3 climbs if you're so inclined. That's going to cause problems for you, because that is 30 points. That's a whole 30 seconds of possession that you could be earning. So rather than the rolls, you're going to want the size-based robots. Buddy bars are going to work really well for tall robots. I know we've seen them on 1574 Miscar, 5700 the Soda Cyber Dragons, but unfortunately when the Soda Cyber Dragons are competing at SFR, there just weren't that many tall climb bots that worked in time. So that kind of stuff doesn't end up happening. We also have the forklift and the ramp bots like 118 and 3476, and it makes sense for them to go for smaller switch bots. Like if you had 118 partnering up with 1836 Milkanites, that would work really well, given it's a small size, it's a higher likelihood of that kind of climb succeeding, I think. So teams like 973 and 118 who are doing the forklift, they're going to want to start building around the switch bots because they're smaller. They have that tinier shape to them. Meanwhile, 1574, you could see potentially triple tall robots because of the efficiency that you were saying, where you can have scale dedicated robots running exchange and switch pretty well. So as we go into the district champs and into the world soon, with the more diverse pool of teams to them, with about 75 teams of field at champs, I believe, we're going to see an abrupt shift to the size meta from the role meta. Clint, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys both touched on the point that, these teams that build for the scale can be as effective at the switch. Is really just down to the main game objective, which is actually collecting the cubes. Regardless of where you put them, collecting the cubes is actually the difficult part of this game. So teams that can do that and put them on the scale are going to be just as effective as putting them on the switch. But otherwise, I think you're both spot on. I think we could see a little bit of size meta. I think you still might see a little bit of the role playing become a factor as we move into these DCMPs and championships. All right, so let's look forward to week 5. We've got a couple PNW events and a few regionals. We don't have quite as many events as we did last week. So, Aiden, why don't you get us started off up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, so in the PNW, where I actually have what I want to say for this, we got the Lake Oswego event, where 36 teams will duke it out in one of the last Pacific North best events before the district championships. Fan favorite 2471 Mean Machine will be blazing their way to the top 8 with their robot Atlas, performing pretty well these past few weeks, so great to see how they'll do this time. 3 rookies will be in competition. We got 7032 the Raptors, 7034 2B Determined, and 7204 Prospect Robotics. Prospect Cougars. Also attending is 957 Swarm, who were finalists at the Wilsonville event, 1359 the Scalawags, who were winners at the Wilsonville event, and 2811 Stormbots, who were finalists at Clackams and winners at Sundome. We've also got 3024, my favorite team, also Clint's favorite team in the PNW. Speaking of Clint's favorite teams, Clint, who are you looking forward to seeing play at Auburn?
All right, so Auburn gets to host yet another competitive district event in the Pacific Northwest at the Auburn Mountain View District event. Frontrunners coming into the 35-team event have got to be 1318 with their gold cling bling at Sundome, 2046 the Clackham's winners and Auburn finalists, 2557 the silver gold cling blingers at Auburn, and 1425 the Wilsonville champs. If 1425 continues their successful partner climbing, I anticipate we'll see them at the top of the rankings come Saturday afternoon. In addition to some intense scale battles, there'll definitely be some serious switch bots at the event. Both 2976 and 3219 have shown to successfully work both switches in events this season. If they can keep the opponent switches locked up, they'll find themselves playing pretty late into the elims on Saturday. This late in the season, with most of the top teams at this event having already played 2 district events, we may see some interesting strategies come out of the playbook as teams look to test what works and what doesn't before heading to the big show in week 6.
Nice. Now, this weekend in the city of Ventura, LA Regional Part 2 Beachside Boogaloo, also known as the Ventura Regional, will take place. As my minor quip suggested, most of the lineup will consist of teams we saw 2 weeks ago at the LA Regional in Pomona, as well as some far-traveling teams. SoCal namestakes 968 Rock, 1138 Eagle Engineering, 1266 the Devil Duckies, 3925 the Circle of Life, 5199 Robot Dolphin from Outer Space, who still has the greatest name of all time, 5818 Riviera Robotics, and more, looking to show their out-of-town friends the strength of SoCal street knowledge. But their far-traveling competitors want to show them what FRC is like in their own hoods. Coming from Los Altos in Northern California, Team 114 Eagle Strike is making their regional debut this weekend, and Team 2486 the Coconuts are headed out from their Arizona North hometown to get some of that California love. When it comes to travel distance, though, there are a few teams that have them beat. Teams 5515, 6706, and 6967 are all coming over from China. 6417 is flying out from Switzerland, and 6430 is crossing over from Turkey. Hopefully these teams enjoy their experience in the US of A and get a chance to visit the beautiful beaches of Southern California.
All right. The Taco Bell Arena will host the Idaho Regional this weekend at Boise. With only 38 teams at this regional event, robots are sure to see plenty of field time. With only 11 teams competing for the first time, many will have worked out the kinks in the robots and will hit the field running. 6 teams at the event have reached the finals in a previous event, but many are still looking for their first banner of the season. After a great run at AZ North, hometown heroes in 2016 and 2017 Einstein participants, Team Taters will be looking to keep the trophy in Idaho. Their partner climber and interesting scale scoring mechanism will definitely take them to the top tier of this event. Joining them up there from the PNW will be 1983, who's coming off back-to-back wins at Auburn and Glacier Peak. Man, they're competing in 3 straight weeks. That's crazy. Another contender for the top spot will be 1619 from Colorado, who looks to bounce back after a disappointing finalist appearance in the Colorado Regional. MVRT will be fielding their once lost but now found robot for the second time after a nice showing in Utah. With all the talent coming into Boise State this weekend, their famous blue turf won't be the only thing worth checking out.
Sounds great. Glad to hear MVRT's getting back in action now that they found their robot. So we're going to go into our last event for the week. We got a platinum anniversary, or should I say Silicon, this weekend in San Jose, celebrating 20 years as the Silicon Valley Regional, where we'll see many teams from the Bay Area compete in what may be the most intense event in California. Celebrating this anniversary will be Team 254, the Cheesy Poofs, who have been attending the regional ever since it was called the NASA Ames Regional, as well as Team 971, the Spartan Robotics, and 973, Greybots, who won the San Francisco Regional together this year with Team 972, unfortunately not attending SVR. I personally think one of, if not both of the world champions will likely team up to take the 20th trophy Silicon Valley Regional has offered, though there's a good chunk of high-performing teams this year looking to take that blue banner home as well. Also attending are 604 Quicksilver, finalists at SFR, 670 Homestead Robotics, finalists at Utah, 846 the Funky Monkeys, winners at Hub City, 1072 Harker Robotics, finalists at Sacramento this last weekend, 1868 the Space Cookies, who won chairmans at Canadian Pacific Regional back in week 3, and 2017 Hall of Fame winners 3132 Thunder Down Under, flying out all the way from Australia. It'll be awesome to see them competing at this event. With 60 teams from 6 countries, including Brazil, Turkey, China, and the Dominican Republic attending SVR, the team pool is one of the deepest and most diverse in the state this year.
All right, guys. So that's all the week 5 events, and that's all the time we have for tonight. So thanks to everybody for hanging out with us in the chat. If you want more First Robotics in your life and like what we do, all we ask is you let others know about the show. If you got a few bucks to support the stream, we appreciate it. But if not, we totally understand and are stoked to have you here. On behalf of myself, Andrew, Aiden, and our producer, Nick, I would like to thank you all for tuning in. And thanks to all our moderators in the chat. Talk to you next Monday on Best of the West.
Good night, guys.
Later.